Good morning everyone, my name is Richard Megag and today I'll discuss about the chapter 14. This is all about the insurance law. So before we delve into our discussion of this topic, here are the learning objectives. First, enumerate items that can be insured by a tourism establishment. Second, identify the rationale behind the concept of insurance. Third, explain the different kinds of insurance. Fourth, identify the advantages and disadvantages of having this insurance. So here are the the topic outline. Definition of concept. Insurable interest. Insurable interest in group insurance. Insurable interest in property. Beneficiaries. Fire, marine, and third-party liability insurance. Fire insurance, compulsory motor vehicle liability insurance, and war risk insurance. So, insurance law, it is a branch of law that governs the business of insurance and the regulation of insurance policy and claims. It plays a crucial role in ensuring that both insurers and policyholders operate within a legal framework that promotes fairness, transparency, and financial protection. At its core, insurance law involves the contractual relationship between the insured, the policyholder, and the insurer, outlining the rights, responsibilities, and obligations of each party. It covers various types of insurance such as first, life, health, property, liability, and auto insurance, in addition to protecting individuals and business against potential financial losses. Insurance law also contributes to economic stability by promoting risk management and ensuring compensation in times of loss or damage. As such understanding, the insurance law is vital for legal practitioners, business owners, and consumers alike. So here are the definition and concept. The law. Section 2. A contract of insurance is an agreement whereby one undertakes for a consideration to indemnify another against loss, damage, or liability arising from an unknown or contingent event. So here is the discussion of the law. The essential elements of an insurance contract are A. Insurable interest insurance. It is referred to the legal or financial state a person has in the subject matter of the insurance. It is a fundamental requirement to prevent moral hazard and ensure that insurance is not used of speculation or wagering. The insured must stand to suffer a direct financial loss or adverse effect if the insured event occurs. For example, a person has an insurable interest in their own life, the lives of close family members, or property they own or are responsible for. B. Existence of risk is a possibility of a future loss or damage that uncertain in time and occurrence. In insurance, this risk must be fortuitous. That means beyond the control of the insured and not inevitable. The existence of risk justifies the need for insurance, as it provides financial protection against unpredictable events such as accident, illnesses, death, or property damage. C. Assumption of risk by the insurer. Insurance contracts involve the transfer of risk from the insured to the insurer. The insurer agrees to assume the risk specified under certain conditions. This assumption is formalized through the terms of insurance policy, where the insurer promises to compensate or indemnify the insured in the events of a covered loss. D. Risk distribution among similar risk. Bearers insurance operates on the principle of risk pooling. The insurer collects premiums from a large number of policyholders who face similar risk, creating a fund that is used to pay for the actual loss of the few who suffer them. This spreading of risk makes it financially feasible for insurers to provide coverage and for policyholders to offer protection. E. Payment of premium. It is the monetary consideration paid by the insured to the insurer in exchange for coverage. It is essential to the validity of the insurance contract as it reflects the insured obligations and the insurer's source of funds to pay claims. Premiums are typically calculated based on the level of risk involved, the amount of coverage, and other actuarial factors. So, insurable interest law. Section 10. Every person has an insurable interest in the life and health. Section 13. Every interest in property, whether real or personal, or any relation to or liability in respect of such nature that a contemplated peril might directly indemnify the insured, is an insurable interest. Section 14. An insurable interest in property. Section 15. A carrier or depository of any kind has an insurable interest in a thing held by him as such to the extent of his liability but not to exceed the value thereof. So here is the discussion of the law. Insurable interest is a foundational principle in insurable law, ensuring that insurance contracts are based on genuine risk and not speculative ventures. Under Section 10 of the Insurance Code, every person is deemed to have an insurable interest in their own life and health, as well as in the life and health of others upon whom they depend for emotional or financial support. So this includes close family members, spouses, business partners, and even debtors or creditors may insure the life of a debtor up to the amount of the debt. In terms of property, Section 13 defines insurable interest broadly. It states that any legal or equitable interest in property, whether real or personal, or any relationship or liability connected to it. It qualifies as insurable interest if the insured stands to suffer direct financial loss from a contemplated peril. This means that ownership is not just a sole basis of insurable interest. Even those who possess or manage property, such as leases, mortgages, or baileys, may insure it. So further clarified in Section 14, the law requires that insurable interest in property must exist at the time of loss, not necessarily when the insurance contract was entered into. This provision allows the future owners or parties with pending interest in a property to lawfully insure it as long as their interest materializes before any actual loss occurs. So lastly, the Section 15 addresses the situation of carriers or depositories such as transport companies or storage facilities who temporarily hold goods belonging to others. These parties have an insurable interest in the goods in their custody, but not only to the extent of their liability and not exceeding the value of the goods. This protects them from financial exposure in case of loss or damage for which they may be held responsible. Insurable interest in group insurance. It is recognized through the relationship between the policyholder, that is usually an employer, association, or organization, and the members of the group being insured. So in this case, the policyholder must have a legitimate interest in the lives or health of the insured members, usually grounded in a common economic or social relationship. For instance, in employer-employee group insurance, the employer has an insurable interest in the health and welfare of the employees as their productivity and well-being directly affect business operations. So similarly, Associations or groups offering insurance benefits to their members are presumed to have an insurable interest arising from their organizational objectives and responsibilities. However, individual consent and participation are also essential to validate coverage under group insurance plans. So, insurable interest in property. It is refers to the legal or financial interest a person holds in physical or tangible assets, such that the loss, damage, or destruction of those assets would result in direct financial loss to them. This interest is not limited to ownership. It may arise from possession, custody, or contractual obligation. For example, a lease or a person with a pending purchase agreement may insure the property due to their potential risk or financial loss. According to the insurance code, the insurable interest in property must exist at the time of the loss for claim to be valid. The law recognizes that property rights and interests can be diverse and overlapping, and thus insurable interest is extended to any person whose financial well-being is at stake should the property be damaged or lost. So here is the beneficiary, the law. Section 18. No contract or policy of insurance on property shall be enforceable except for the benefit of some person having an insurable interest in property insured. Section 19. An interest in property insured must exist when the insurable takes effect and when the loss occurs, but need not exist in the meantime. An interest in the life or health of a person insured must exist when the insurance takes effect, but need not exist thereafter or when the loss occurs. So here is a discussion of the law. In insurance law, beneficiaries are the persons or entities designated to receive the proceeds of an insurance, and upon occurrence of the insured event, such as death, illnesses, or property loss. According to Section 18 of the Insurance Code, a contract or policy of insurance on property is only enforceable if it benefits a person with an insurable interest in property insured. This provision ensures that only those who stand to suffer a genuine financial loss from damage or destruction to be the property may claim under the policy, thereby upholding the principle that insurance is a tool for risk protection, not profit-making. Meanwhile, Section 19 provides important distinctions in the timing of insurable interest. For property insurance, the insured must have an insurable interest both at the time the insurance takes effect and at the time of loss. If the insured has no longer any interest in property when the damage occurs, they cannot recover under the policy. So here the fire, marine, and third-party liability insurance. Section 99 of the Marine Insurance covers various property and interests related to navigation, transit, and transportation, including vessels, craft, aircraft, vehicles, goods, freight, cargoes, merchandise, person, and property. It also covers marine protection and indemnity insurance for loss, damage, or expense in ocean or inland waterways. So here is the discussion of the law. Fire, marine, and third-party liability insurance are distinct types of insurance coverage designed to address specific risk. Fire insurance provides protection against loss or damage caused by fire or lightning, and often extends to allied perils such as explosions, smoke, or water damage due to fire suppression efforts. It is commonly used to insure homes, buildings, and business properties. So marine insurance, as outlined in Section 99 of the Insurance Code, covers a broad range of property and interests involved in navigation and transportation. So this includes vessel, cargoes, goods, and even vehicles and aircrafts engaged in transit. It also encompasses marine protection and indemnity insurance, which covers liabilities for loss, damage, or expenses arising during ocean or inland waterway navigation, such as collisions, cargo damage, or injuries to crew or passengers. So, fire insurance. Here is the law. Section 167, as used in this code, the term fire insurance shall be include insurance against loss by fire, lightning and windstorm, tornado or earthquake, and other allied risks. When such risks are covered by extension of fire, insurance policies are under separate policies. So here is the discussion of the law. Fire insurance is defined under Section 167 of the Insurance Code. It's a type of property that provides financial protection against losses caused by fire and other related perils. Specifically, the law includes within the scope of fire insurance not only losses caused directly by fire but also lightning, windstorm, tornado, earthquake, and other allied risks, provided these perils are either included in the main policy or covered by extensions or separate policies. This broad definition recognizes that damage resulting from natural forces often occurs alongside or as a consequence of fire, and therefore policyholders may require comprehensive protection. And lastly, the war risk insurance. Here is the law. War risk insurance is an insurance covering damage caused by acts of war. It includes coverage for war, hijacking, and related perils. Insurers have intended to withdraw liability coverage for weapons of mass destruction, a subset of war risk insurance that includes radioactive contamination or dirty bombs, electromagnetic pulse devices, chemical biological weapons. So here's a discussion of the law. War-based insurance is a specialized form of coverage that protects against losses caused by acts of wars and related hostilities. As defined in insurance practice and supported by international underwriting standards, it includes not only damages resulting directly from war but also from hijacking, civil unrest, insurrection, terrorism, and other hostile acts. These types of insurance is particularly relevant for industries exposed to high-risk environments such as aviation, maritime shipping, and international logistics, where conflict zones or unstable regions increase the probability of war-related losses. While war-based insurance can be included as a rider or purchased separately from standard insurance policies, it is typically excluded from general insurance coverage due to the unpredictable and catastrophic nature of war. So that's all for the chapter 14. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.